From our studio in Atlantic City and tonight from the concert venue at Harrah's Resort, I'm David Spatz. And coming up next, he's the creator and star of one of the great one-man shows of all time. Chazz Palminteri of A Bronx Tale joins me on tonight's edition of Curtain Call, and it all starts right now. Now, ordinarily, I would open the show by saying we're coming to you from the concert venue at Harrah's, but tonight we're going to suspend reality just for a little bit and say we're coming to you from the stoop at 667 East 187th Street in the Bronx, and that's the home, or the childhood home, of the creator, the writer, the star of A Bronx Tale, Chazz Palminteri. Chazz.
Hi, David.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for letting us, kind of slip into your life.
Oh, thanks
for
a lot. You're
a
welcome.
little bit.
You're welcome. It's okay.
This must be kind of strange for you every night coming out into the place you grew up.
Yeah, it's just, I love just coming out and just telling this story about my life and about my mom and my dad, and it's like a celebration of my parents, and I love them so much, and what they meant to me, and the values that my father taught me about the working man was the tough guy, not the mafia guy. And I love this story because it really says something about Italian Americans. And I always say, Italian Americans always get criticized for being in the mafia, and I always say the mafia is just this aberration in the Italian American community. The real community is about the working people, and that's what Bronx Tale is about. It's about the working person. Is the mafia in it? Of course. But it's about the working man, how he triumphs over the mafia.
But yeah, I mean, the mafia, the mafia guys are in it, the foot soldiers, the capos, and the dons, but the firefighters are in there, the cops are in there,
Absolutely.
The bus drivers, the guy who bakes the bread.
That's right.
I mean, the Bronx was like a microcosm of America, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I was this melting pot of all these people who just wanted to make life better for their kids. One generation tries to make the next generation better, and that's what it was about.
So what was it that kind of set the wheels in motion for you to create this little theater masterpiece?
Well, it was desperation. I mean,
you wanted to work, right?
It was work. I mean, I really wrote it because I ran out of money at the time. I was working in LA. I was doing the guest star roles on some of those shows, Hill Street Blues and a lot of those things. And then finally, I ran out of money, and I was like, wow, what am I going to do? And I already did all the guest star roles, and I was trying to break into film, and it was very difficult. So I said, well, if I write my own show, they got to notice me. I'll do a one-man show. They can't help but look at me. So that's what it was. I decided to write, and I said, what am I going to write about? And I thought about this killing that I saw when I was a young boy. I was sitting on my stoop, just like this, and I was sitting there like this. And this man, they took parking spaces, but they were fighting over this parking space, and this one guy got out with a baseball bat and cracked the window. The other guy came over, his friend, and killed him 5 feet right in front of me. And then he kind of just stared at me, and I stared at him, and it was like, and then my father dragged me and pulled me upstairs. And I always wanted to write about my relationship with that guy and with and with those people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it traumatize you?
No. No, people always say that to me. They say, and I say no. Obviously, it stayed in my head because I did write about it years later. But no, I didn't feel traumatized. I don't know why. My father just brought me.
Was it because you were living in the Bronx? I mean,
I got to be honest with you. I don't know why, and many people have asked me that, and I wasn't traumatized at all. I thought about it. I did think about it for many years, obviously, but I wasn't traumatized, and I didn't rat on the guy. The cops came up, and we didn't go down. So that's really, and then I started hanging around there, and to me it was like, you couldn't rat. There's like a known thing. Nobody ratted in the neighborhood, so to me it was like, it was like a badge of honor.
I didn't see nothing, right?
I didn't see nothing. I don't know anything. I don't want to know nothing. So, and then to see all these wise guys with the money and the cars and the women, it was exciting. But my father always said, it doesn't take much strength to pull a trigger. You want to be a tough guy, get out and work for a living, and my father was right.
What did your dad do?
He was a bus driver.
Right.
And I used to ride the bus with him, just like in the movie, And he would say, get out, come on, get on the bus. He would try to keep me off the street, But he was a great guy, man. Great. He just passed away. He was 89, and he just passed away recently. But he saw many years of success with me, and he was very proud of me and my sisters and Bronx Tale.
When you set about writing this because you wanted to get work, you had also done stage work too.
Oh, many years. I was established New York stage actor at the time.
Before television came along.
Oh, absolutely, way before. Yes, I was in theater for 8 or 9 years. Yeah.
So the idea was you would write a stage play.
Stage play. Because it was the easiest thing where I could control it. I could get enough money to produce it.
Right.
So I said, well, I'll write a stage play, a one-man show. I'll play all the parts. They got to notice me now. But
don't have to pay actors or
anything. Don't have to pay actors, don't have to rehearse, don't have to do anything. But the incredible thing was when I did it, David, all of a sudden, it took off. So it was so, for the people, don't forget, this is 1989. Right. This is way before The Sopranos, way before Goodfellas, way before all these things. People have never seen it before. It just blew people away.
It was the original reality show.
Absolutely, it became the hottest property in Hollywood in New York since Rocky, and they offered me $250. Then it went to $500. Then it went to $1 million to turn it over, and I refused. And I had $187 in the bank at the time, and I refused. And then finally, Robert De Niro strolled into the theater. He saw it. He loved it, and he said, "Hey, this would be great. Listen, you play Sonny, you write it because it's about you. I'll direct it. I'll play your father. Let's do it." And that's how it happened.
And how did that make you feel when Robert De Niro approaches you? I mean, you're doing something right.
Of course, I was very excited. I mean, he's always been. I loved him. He was one of my favorite actors of all time. And then finally to meet him, and to say he wanted to play my father, direct his first movie about our lives. I mean, that was pretty exciting.
Right on this spot here stood the man, Sonny. Sharkskin suit, diamond pinky ring. Sonny had 5 fingers, but he only used 3. There was a guy in his left and a guy in his right, Jimmy and Bobo, and they were his bodyguards. They looked like refrigerators with heads. And Sonny wore these skinny, pointy black Italian shoes that I can never understand how he got his feet in them. You see, I think that's why Sonny was so tough, because if he could take pain like that, nobody could make him talk. And he would just stand there and tip his hat to all the old ladies walking by with their shopping.
Did you find yourself thinking, why didn't I do this sooner, or did you have to
you know what,
pay the dues?
I think you have to pay the dues. I think that's a good question. I think, you know what, I'm glad I made it later on in life. I think if I would have, if all the success would have happened when I was in my 20s, I don't know if I'd be here right now. I probably would have blown it. You know, I wasn't that mature at that age, no.
There are 18 characters in the show.
Yeah.
Now, when you were writing it, you also workshopped it along the way a lot.
A lot, no. I was a member of the Actors Studio in New York, and I was also a member of Theater West in LA. So what I would do was I would write 10 minutes of it, perform it, just like this theater, and everybody would sit there, and at the end they would comment about the 10 minutes I just wrote, and they would say, well, they like this, they like that. And then I would listen, and I would go home and rewrite it, add another 5 minutes, and I did this for almost a year. So at the end of 1 year, I had this show, this 85, 90-minute show that was like workshopped, tight, strong. So when I did it, it exploded. It just exploded.
All right, so you opened it off-Broadway. It played off-Broadway originally.
Off-Broadway first, yes.
What were you thinking when you were waiting for the reviews to come out? Were you thinking, I hope they get it, I hope they like it?
Well, I mean, I knew it was such ahead of its time when I did it. I just said, just tell the story, Chazz, and whatever happens, happen. Speak from the heart. Do the characters, speak from the heart. But I didn't realize how it would be that I think it was going to take off like it did and explode like it did. No, I mean, I thought it'd be good, right. But I didn't think, I didn't say, well, Robert De Niro's going to come in and make me an offer. No, I didn't think that, but I was happy that it worked out that way.
And not only make you an offer, but decided he wanted to make his directorial debut.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Did that put any more pressure on you as the author, as the creator of the thing, knowing that he was going to really put himself on the line?
I didn't think so. I just thought it just excited me. I wanted to do such a great job. I worked so hard on the screenplay, and I kept going back and forth and bringing it to him, and we would look at it, and then he would say, yeah, I like this, try to change, and I would go back and I rework it again, and I just worked really hard on the script. I just wanted it to be perfect, you know, and I'm very happy with it. I wouldn't change a frame right now. It's been around now. It's, you know, people call it a classic. It's one of the you know, the movies that everybody sees. So I wouldn't change a frame of it right now.
You did the movie. First you did the play, then you did the movie, and then you took a little time off away from it, didn't you, to do
well,
other
I
things?
was doing
Right, you were doing film.
I was doing films for, you know, all these years. And then finally I thought about it and I said, you know, because so many people I would see who saw it in New York and LA would say to me, oh, I love the movie, oh, the movie's great. But you know what? I saw the play. Now the play was really something. And I kept hearing this over the years. And then I said, you know, there's a whole new generation of people who never saw the original show. I said, I'm going to bring it back. And I was doing a movie called Yonkers Joe, and I mentioned it to the producers of the movie. And these guys from Vegas, great producers, Trent Othick and John Gahn, and they just turned to me and said, you want to go to Broadway? And I said, yeah. They went, we'll give you the money. Just like that. Wow. 6 weeks later, I was on Broadway.
Wow. 6 weeks?
6 weeks later. Unheard of.
Wow.
Unheard of. Jerry Zaks. Let me please, I must bring up Jerry Zaks.
Yes, I was going to get to that,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you did.
Jerry Zaks, the great director, you know, 4-time Tony winner. He's been nominated 8 times for 8 Tonys. Brilliant director, really actually made the piece better than with the original. So he just did some great things with me and worked with me, and great director, and really knows funny and knows how to stage things terrifically. So I had a great time with him.
Do you ever find yourself on stage, whether it's here at Harris or anywhere else that you've been touring with the show, you ever find yourself on stage thinking, I wish I could split myself in half and get out and watch me?
I say that all the
Do you
time.
really?
I say that all the time. Are you kidding? I wish I could watch it, because the way people react to it and the way they just jump up and stand up at the end of it, and it's really, I mean, if you love the movie, you'll love the play even more, because it's a very visceral experience. It reaches out and it grabs you by the throat, shakes you. And I am the guy. I am Kolojo.
Right.
That's my name. I'm the little boy. So it's a very personal story when you see the actual man in person doing the characters, telling you the story.
So when you hear the expression getting in touch with your inner self, you're getting in touch with your little self.
Yes. Yes.
Every night.
Every night. Every night.
The first time I threw the dice, I didn't even hit the back wall. And the rule in dice is, at least one of the dice have got to touch the back wall or it's no toss. And they all started laughing at me. Hey, Sonny! Sonny! You little provolone. He's got an arm like a wet noodle, Sonny. Ah. Hey, Sonny, you think I'm a loser? You should look at this. Hey, you better watch that kid, Sonny. You ain't gonna everybody shut up. This kid's a winner, this kid. Give me those dice. Give me those dice. Come on, baby. You can do it. Let's put some money down. We put some real money. Real money. Jojo, you're breathing all over me. You want to back up, Jojo? Back up. Come on. Back up. Just back up over there. Come on, kid. We're going to do it. Put some money down, baby. Give me a 7. Give me a... No! Hey, no good. Eddie Mush, no good. I don't want your money touching my money. Eddie Mush, I don't want your money in the same neighborhood as my money. Jimmy, come here. Get Eddie Mush. Lock him in the bathroom. What? I don't give a shit he don't want to go. Put him in. I'm on a Win Street case. He's killing me. He'll kill me. He's a schmonica. He's killing me. Get him out of here. I don't want my money near my money. Come on, baby. You can do it. Give me a 7, baby. Give me 7. Okay, Sonny. Okay. 7. Look at this kid. Is he a winner? Pass those dice down. Pass them down.
I mentioned you've been touring around the country with the show.
Yeah.
Do people react differently to different spots of the show depending on where you are?
Well, I mean, they might get... You know, when I did Texas, I was in Texas and Wisconsin and places like that, and I was a little like, wow, gee, I wonder how it's going to go here. They loved it. They just, because it's a universal story, David. It's about father, son, relationships, morality. It's a cautionary tale. It's about all these things, racism, and it just works. I don't know, it just works. You know, I worked very hard on it, and for whatever reason, it's like lightning in a bottle. It just hits. It just hits, man. It just hits.
One of the cardinal rules of the theater is you don't go off book. You stick with the script. However,
Right.
you wrote the book.
Yes.
So do you find yourself in
Sometimes.
a position? You
Yeah,
ad-lib?
sometimes I ad-lib. In fact, I ad-lib sometimes, and sometimes it's so funny. Usually, there's this one thing in the card game, in the crap game. I'll say it quickly. I'm going over how much money's on the floor, and I said 9 and 6, And when first time I did it, I made a mistake. I went 9 and 6 is 14,000. And I turned to the other guy and I said 14,000. And some guy in the audience, I heard him yell 15. And I went, and I said, oh my God, he's right. And I turned to him and I said, excuse me, what's your name? I don't know who you are, but do yourself a favor, stand up and walk yourself in the bathroom. And the place went down. I mean, the place just, and I kept
So
it
you
in.
not only went off book, you broke the wall.
I broke the wall. Oh, I did everything. I just broke the wall right there, which I don't usually do in the piece. You know, I break the wall when I narrate with the audience, but I really broke the wall that time. But you know, it worked so well, I kept it in.
What drew you to acting in the first place?
You know, my mother used to take me to the movies a lot when I was a kid, and she would take me. She loved the movies, my mother, and I saw Around the World in 80 Days, and my favorite movie, still my favorite movie, is On the Waterfront, which I think is the greatest movie ever made. And I don't know, it's just something. I used to get up and imitate Marlon Brando and imitate, you know, Robert De Niro and all these guys when I was a kid, and it's just something I wanted to do.
And you pursued it.
And I
but
pursued it.
I mean, you didn't. It wasn't a something you just fell right into. You had other jobs too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was a singer. I started out as a professional singer, which really, I've been on stage since I've been like 18. You know, so I've been on stage a long time. I've been very, very blessed. God has blessed me with a great life and a great career, and you know, I can't complain. It's just, I think you have to work hard. It's what my father said. You work hard, good things happen. You do the wrong thing, bad things happen. Very simple.
So you were doing guest starring roles in a lot of, you know, the very popular series during the 80s. You wanted to break into film. You wrote this, and then it was pretty much your entree into
totally
the big screen.
I did this, and then while we were editing this, Woody Allen heard about me, about this guy, and he called me in, and I got the part in Bullets Over Broadway, which I got nominated for Academy Award. And then I did Usual Suspects. So I was just like, boom! I was on a rocket ship, man. It was like, you know, I went from a stage actor that nobody knew, you know, into a movie star.
Wow. Where do you go after you created a show like this?
Yeah.
Where do you go from here? How do you follow up something like a Bronx Tale?
Well, I wrote other plays which do very well. I wrote this play Fateful, which became a movie. But Fateful actually has been translated into 15 languages and it's been done all over the world. It's a three-character play, and I'm writing another play now, and I've written many movies, other movies. So you know, I write, I direct. I direct some movies. I directed Noel and a few other things. I was directing Oz for HBO. So I just enjoy doing it all, you know.
But after doing something like this, can you do another one-man show?
Like this? You know what? I don't know. That's a tall order. You know, do I have another one-man show like Bronx Tale in me? I don't know. I mean,
but Bronx Tale covered like the first part of your life.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I had another. I did a musical show, a one-man musical show that I did, which covered the second half of it. That was really good. Did it have the same impact as this? No. It was good, but not as good as this.
This is autobiographical, but yet is fictional too, isn't it?
Yes. It's like when my father dragged me upstairs, and when the cops came up, I didn't go down. I never went down. Right. I said no. But as a writer, I embellished it and have me there with Sonny. But you know, but it's pretty close. The
first time your father saw this show, what did he think?
He was speechless. He was speechless. He cried, you know, because it brought up a lot of memories about, you know, struggling with us when growing up. We didn't have a lot of money, you know, and he just loved it. He loved it. He was so proud of me. He was so proud. So my father's a great man. He's a real Sicilian, strong, tough. Don't mess with my son or my daughters, you know. I mean, hey, you stand up to the wise guys. You know, father was no tough guy. You know, he could handle himself, but what are you gonna do against these guys? You know what I mean? Come on. But he was like, hey, that's my son, you know, you can't do this.
Was there temptation there for you, growing up surrounded by that culture?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. But every time I was about to do something really bad, I thought about my dad and my mom, and I just said, I can't do it. I can't hurt them. I can't hurt them. And I promised my father that I wouldn't waste my talent. I made a promise to him, and I kept thinking about that. He knew what he was doing. He told me when I was 9. He said, promise me you'll never waste your life like these other kids do. And I said, I promise. And I think that stayed in my head.
And you kept that promise?
I kept that promise. He wrote on a little card, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Don't forget that. And he put it in my room. And I still have that card, and I actually give it to some kids after the performance some night. I give them a card just like that.
Well, you certainly didn't waste your chance.
No,
Chazz,
thanks a lot.
been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Welcome.
It doesn't take much strength to pull a trigger, Cologio. But try to get up in the morning, day after day, and feed 3 kids when you're on unemployment. And you got to cash in empty soda bottles to buy a half a pound of chopped meat. Let's see Sonny try that one. And then we'll see who the real tough guy is. The working man's the tough guy. I'm the tough guy. That man is evil. Daddy, stop saying he's evil, Daddy. Everybody treats me so special, Daddy. And I could go to Phil the peddler and get all the fruits and vegetables I want for free, Dad. For free. And Mommy told me to take you when you weren't there, Daddy. She told, listen to me. That man is evil. Daddy, he's not evil, Daddy. He stands on the corner, Pop, and everybody says, good morning, Sonny, and how are you, Sonny? And they kiss his hand, Daddy. Stop it. They kiss his hand, Daddy. They do. Just like you on the bus, Daddy, when they say good morning to you, and how are you, Lorenzo? And they love you, they love him. It's the same thing. No, it's not the same. People don't love him. They fear him. They fear him, Cologio. There's a difference. I don't understand, Dad. I don't understand. I know. You will when you get older. I'm sorry I hit you. You know I love you. You know I love you. You just stay away from that man. He's no good. Let's go home.